this and flawless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How you doing on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? Today's video was not the intended video to go up today, but it's a message that just kind of came to me in a coaching session that I just had that I'm like, nope, I go with the downloads and my feelings, my vibes. I go with that. That's what gets uploaded. My zhuzh. So hence today's video, and we're going to be talking about crickets in the 3D. When we're feeling like there's no movement, or when we feel we're in no contact. We're going to be talking about that, okay? And if you're interested in that, great. Stick around. If you're new, hi, I'm Kimberly, and I would love for you to subscribe and continue joining me on, talking about my obsession, which is manifestation. If you enjoy hanging out with me, I do have another channel called Kimberly's Other Life, which is the other side of me. That's there. You can come hang out with me there. I only upload a weekly, which I'm getting better at. Only weekly, because I upload daily here, right? I don't know how people upload daily everywhere. I don't know. Okay, not this girl. But anyway, on here I do. So let me get to some basic badge. If you need help figuring out what's going on between you and your manifestation, please feel free to email me at manifestingwithkimberly@gmail.com. All of my coaching options are in the drop box below. They're in the screens that just went by. I have 2 channel memberships. I go live with one of those channel memberships tonight. It is the exclusive lives membership. Go live with them around 9:30 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. We do not talk about your specific circumstances. We discuss tips and tricks, and we do share successes. That's the only time our own personal circumstances come up in that membership. And sometimes we want to go there. Sometimes people want to bring up their circumstances, but I do my best to curb that. Where you can, ask me questions specifically about your circumstances other than through coaching or other than through public live streams that I do on this channel. That is in the hot seat / group coaching membership, which I go live with them every single Friday at 9 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. That's the place. That's the place you want to get your ass in the hot seat. You can ask me anything about what's going on in your life. Just do some adjustments. Okay, so I have TikTok, I have Instagram, I have Clapper, and I would love for you to join me everywhere. Yeah, I appreciate your subscription to this channel. I would also appreciate you giving this video a like so it could get out and help other peeps who need some manifestation zhuzh. Okay, let's jump in. This is a good one, and I think we sometimes overlook this, or we just fluff it off as, oh, I'm just having negative thoughts. I'm just having negative thoughts. That's all it is. No. Well, let's talk. Let's talk about when we are taking time to notice and decide that we are not having action in our 3D, right? When we take the time to notice that there's no movement, there's no action, you're not hearing from your specific person, maybe money isn't coming in, or maybe you are having movement and you don't find it favorable. Maybe SP is contacting you, but is still keeping with the old story that they don't want the relationship back. Maybe you're having that experience. So we're still deciding in that moment that, nothing's happening. We're not experiencing what we want to experience, right? So in those moments, number one, this goes without saying, but this isn't what we're going to talk about. It goes without saying that in those moments when you are looking at your 3D and making that decision that nothing is happening, it's fucking crickets out there, we're deciding to be that version of self, period, right? That's the state we're choosing in that moment, okay? So, like I said, this video is not going to be about that, though. I talk about that shit all the time, right? Who do you want to be? But aside from the fact that you're deciding to be the version of yourself that doesn't have shit, which we don't want to do, right? We want to decide we are versions of self that have our manifestation. And again, this is not about lying to yourself and acting like it's literally already in your physical 3D. It's about deciding that you're in the current right reality. You're in the right place. You are the version of self that's having, as in you're watching the unfolding, right? But sometimes I think we kind of look apart from this, and we don't realize that when we are looking at the 3D and deciding nothing is there, that is because in that moment, you are giving in to, number one, your logical mind. You're making a judgment based off of what? Obviously, it's logic, right? I logically don't see anything, haven't heard from SP, or the money hasn't come in, or I don't feel physically better, haven't gotten the job, didn't get the grade, whatever you're manifesting. So you're making that decision based off of what? Some pre-planned conditioning of this is how I expect to see my 3D so that I can feel like my manifestation is happening. So when we aren't having contact with a specific person, we believe we're in no contact. If I need to go, that's a whole different video, but there is no such thing as no contact. You can't be in no contact. We are all pure, unadulterated consciousness, whether we think we are or not. That's who we are at our core. We are connected to everyone. Yes? Okay. Just saying. So there's no such thing as no contact. You ain't in no contact, right? Every time you do your manifestation game, you're connected. Boom. Actually, it's not just when, then. It's all the time. Okay? Just saying. But when you're looking at 3D and deciding nothing's happening, it's crickets, why? Because I need to have movement so that I can decide that my manifestation is working, that my 3D is conforming. Why? Because you can't believe it any other way? Because that's not manifesting. Manifesting is believing or putting your faith in the unseen. The unseen. So it doesn't matter what's happening in your 3D, ever. This is why I word it as return to your decision to who you want to be, which version of self you want to be. It doesn't matter what's happening in the 3D. This is the basing of why circumstances don't matter. When we look at the 3D and we make a decision about what we're experiencing, and if we're deeming it unfavorable, it is because you are looking at it from a pre-planned place of, I can't feel like this is working, or I can't believe, I can't trust, unless I get a text from SP today. Okay, so SP, then what? He texts you. Didn't reconnect, meaning didn't say, hey, I want you back, bitch, but you got your text. This is, I'm telling you right now, this is why when people come to me wanting to manifest, communication, they want to manifest seeing their person more. There's nothing wrong with having those desires. There really isn't. But I think it's better to, and this is my personal opinion, so this doesn't have to be the rules for you, but be honest with yourself why you're manifesting that, why you're focusing on having more contact, right? There's nothing wrong with manifesting in steps. That's not the message of this video. The message is authenticity is key to manifestation. Be honest with yourself. Why do you want that? So that you can believe this is working, so you can trust that manifestation is happening for you, that your manifestation is playing out. It's playing out no matter what you're seeing in your 3D. This is the reason why Neville relentlessly brings up to deny what your 5 senses are telling you. This breaking free from what the 5 senses are saying to you, the breaking free of that is so you can stop seeing the 3D as your permanent world, because your permanent world is your imagination. So if you're constantly rolling back and deciding nothing's happening, no contact, this isn't working, you are deciding over and over and over again to be the version of you that's not having anything happen. Right? Everything is a decision. We just need to realize that in those moments where we are deciding that nothing's happening, it's crickets, we need to realize, so fucking what? It's still working. Because it is. Because it is. It's always working. This is why we are not invited to the how party. The invitations to the how party were never handed out because none of us are invited. I know some of us want to control the how. I get it. I used to be that person too. Till I realized that's what was making my journey a fuck ton harder. Because I was always looking at the 3D and thinking, well, this isn't how I was thinking this was going to plan out. Or I didn't think this is how this was going to play out. So I don't like what's happening. So this must mean I'm not getting what I want. We're always in search of the comfort so that we can decide this is working for us. And that's some of the parts of us that need to go. That's a part of letting old self go so we can be new self. So if your mind is rolling into, where is it? It's crickets out here. There is no contact. Remind yourself in that moment, nope, those are the thoughts of old self. That thinking belongs to old self. That's not who I am anymore. I don't have to concern myself with the 3D. I'll say it one more way so we can get it. There is always movement. Whether we believe that or not, there is always movement. Something is always happening. So if your specific person has shown up and said, total opposite things to you, I say this with so much love. So fucking what? That doesn't mean you have to be the lapdog and tolerate bad behavior. I just mean it doesn't fucking matter how they're showing up right now. You can set a boundary and not tolerate bad behavior. But within that same breath, you can also decide that this doesn't mean my manifestation ain't happening, though. I'm still going to get what I want. So you're not going to be talking this shit for very much longer, SP. Because I'm still getting what I want. When you're looking at your 3D and you're deciding that nothing's happening, it's crickets. The truth is, it is because you are looking to that 3D for validation. And validation feels good. I know it does. We all enjoy it. But this isn't about getting validation yet. It's about deciding who you are, who you want to be. Then the 3D validates you. It starts showing you things in the physical. But you decide ahead. You decide ahead. This is who I am. The 3D follows. Yes? So I'm going to ask you, if you're seeing no movement, you're deciding it's crickets, how the hell do you know what is the right movement or not? How the hell do you know? You weren't invited to the how party, so you don't know how this is playing out. So while you're busy talking shit about your own manifestation and saying that there's crickets or SP hasn't conformed yet, or making yourself feel better by using another limiting belief about SP, like they need healing. No. The answer is just no. You don't have prior knowledge how it's going to unfold. You don't have access to that. At least at this time, we don't. You don't have access to that. You weren't invited to that party. You don't have to figure this out. The 3D doesn't have to make sense to you. The 3D doesn't have to make sense to you. You are breaking free from logical thinking. And you're looking at your 3D deciding that there's no contact, that it's crickets out here, there's no movement, based on logical fucking thinking. Period. I don't hear from them. They're not calling me. They're not texting me. Logically, that means you're not thinking about me. You don't want me. You don't want this relationship. Logically, I understand you. I get it. But we're not dabbling in logic. We're deciding to be an entire different version of ourselves. The version of ourselves that comfortably, cockily knows they're having their manifestation, knows that they're in the midst of their own unfolding. And it's okay if it feels like fucking crickets out there. It's okay. You're still going to get what you want. So let's stop labeling it as bad. How can you give this the label of bad, or the label of it's not working, or there is no movement? How can you give that label when you don't have a damn clue how it's going to play out, or what's really happening in the mind of your SP or anybody, no matter what you're manifesting? You don't know. So remind yourself of that when those type of thoughts are coming in and making you feel a type of way. It is the exact reason why I say if a thought is making you feel not so great, that thought doesn't belong to you anymore. So remind yourself of that so you can free yourself from that icky feeling. Okay? So on that note, don't worry. It's not really crickets. It's not that there's no movement. If you are on a manifestation journey and you are doing a manifestation game, meaning you are deciding to be the version of yourself who has the manifestation, reassure yourself you're in the midst of the unfolding. You're in the right reality. Everything is happening exactly the way it is supposed to, even if it doesn't feel like it. Because you have no idea how it's going to play out. So stop assuming that you do. Okay? All right. On that note, be good. And I'll see you tomorrow.